Hello and welcome back to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales, and today we've got another beach scene. I've done a few of these and they're all in the icons there. I'll talk a little bit about them as I progress with this painting, but without further ado, let's have a quick look at the canvas that we've got in front of us. Now you can paint on any size canvas you want. This is 24 by 18 by 24. I've taken the liberty of putting a gesso on there, and there's a little mark there. I've taken the liberty of pre-gessoing this, so that's great. So it's had a good coat of gesso, two in fact. So let's just get straight on to the painting. So I'm going to pick up some ultramarine blue and a little bit of black, ultramarine blue and black. I'm going to make a nice dark colour. I want to pick up a fair bit of paint on the old brush. And I'm going to go into this top corner on the left hand side like this. Now I'm also going to be picking up some phthalo green, and I'm going to be bringing a little bit of that in like that. A bit of phthalo green. Just a bit of moisture and a little bit more phthalo green. Now the palette today consists of some Mars black, some ultramarine blue, some cerulean blue, some chromium green. If you haven't got any chromium green, don't worry, just use a light green, and some yellow. That's it. So I'm going to bring this down like that. I'm going to get a touch of white just to the edge of my brush like that, just to the edge of my brush, and I'm going to bring a bit of that white in like this. This is a wet and wet technique, and anybody can do this. There you go. Just bring a little bit of white into that darkness there. I've done a wave coming straight on, that's in the icons if you want to have a look at that. I've done a wave coming straight on. I've also done a painting of my feet, where the waves crashing up against my feet. I've done a painting of a lady standing on the beach with the wind blowing her dress, and I thought, well, I've done every possible angle, so I'll try and do a diagonal one. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but let's try. I'm going to bring a yellow. I'm going to bring a bit of yellow into this water now. There we are. I haven't cleaned my brush, I'm just using the paint that's on the brush. I want to get that water to look a little bit more green there. I'm going to bring a bit more phthalo green as well to it. Phthalo green is lovely, it's quite transparent in fact. And I want to try and get this effect like that. This painting is inspired by my trip down to Tenby in West Wales, but it's also inspired by my friend Cinnamon Cooney. Hello Cinnamon, I haven't talked to you for such a long time. We're going to have to email or message us at some point, because I haven't talked to Cinnamon for quite a while now, because as you know, or you might not know, but I lost my mum. It's coming up to 2 years now since my mum passed away, and I lost touch with all my friends like Cinnamon Cooney and Angela Anderson and Paint with Jayne, and I was talking to Jayne. Jayne and I were supposed to have done a collaboration, and we never got to that. I did one with Angela Anderson, and I've also done a few with Cinnamon in fact, and she's a lovely lady, Cinnamon, and her mother Ginger Cook as well. Just to mention a few people that I've been in contact with over the years since I've been doing YouTube. So Cinnamon, if you're watching this is inspired by your painting. I don't know if you remember a few years ago when I said, can I pinch your idea to make a lesson? And I never got round to doing it, so I thought I'm going to give it a try, and I'm going to use that as an inspiration. And so I want to do something around about the same lines as that. And if you haven't checked Cinnamon's painting out, please go along and do that, because she's a wonderful artist. and I really do need to talk to her again. I need to. But there we go. We'll get there. We'll get there. Also, my friend Jason Bowen, you need to go and check his out as well. Now, the water around Tenby is quite a lusciously looking blue, greeny type of effect. Well, it was when I was down there recently, and I'll put some videos up to show you what I mean. So I'm just blending in some colours now. There we go. Just blending in some colours, still a bit more phthalo green, a bit of white. Making a nice rough edge like this. I'll have to drop Cinnamon a line, I think. You know, a long time since I've talked to her. And I know she's doing really well. Her channel is doing really, really well. And we've talked on a number of occasions over the years. Like I said, my mum passed away and I haven't been very well. I've been suffering with anxiety and depression, believe it or not. That's why I say painting away the stress of everyday life, because that's what I've been doing, and it's worked for me, and it's brought me a little bit of joy and happiness as well. So let's just get this sea colour in like that. How nice is that? I quite like that effect. I quite like that. I do. You can get a blending brush, which you should be able to pick up. You can use a lady's makeup brush, or you can buy these on my website. And you can just blend that in to smooth that up like that. It's quite effective. All you're looking for is a watercolour, not a watercolour paint, a colour of the water. And as long as you've got that, it doesn't really matter what colour. You can paint it the same colour as your ocean if you want to, where you live. So what I'm going to do now is get some, I need to put some other colours on my palette. So I'm going to add a burnt umber. There you go. A bit of burnt umber. I'm going to put some raw sienna. This is the sand colour I'm going to use. And I'm also going to use some yellow ochre like that. There you are. Now what I've also got is some sand. This is sand that I took off the beach in Tenby, and I had an idea of actually making some paint up and putting some sand under my canvas. So let's get some raw sienna. And let's get some burnt umber, and let's put a little bit of sand into that paint. Oops, let's take the lid off. Put a little bit of sand into that paint, like that, and mix that together. So we got a texture paint. In fact, I'm going to add a little bit more paint in there. There we go. A little bit more paint. I might put a little bit of yellow ochre in there. No, maybe not. I'll put a bit of burnt umber in there. And what I'm going to add to that as well, I got some glazing medium here. If you haven't got any glazing medium, it doesn't matter. But I'm just going to put a little bit of acrylic glazing medium in there. I sell this stuff on the website as well, so you know, if you want to go and buy some of that, it's quite reasonably priced. I'm going to mix that together, and then you've got a textured paint. So you can buy this paint already made in the art store in tubs, but why do that? If you can get some sand or something that from the area that you've seen, and this is a painting of Tenby, so why not use that? And then we'll just put that on like this. So there's little particles of sand now in there, which is good. It's adding that little bit of texture, and that's the sand from the beach where I took all these photographs and videos from, and I'm going to be quite loose with this. My board is moving again. I lost my glue tack has been sticking. I'd have to make a new board for my canvas, I think. A little bit of fluid medium. And just paint that in as simple and as quickly as that. It looks like sand. That's what we're looking for. We want something that looks like sand. But also got a little bit of texture to it now. If you go into the lesson that's in the iCards there, if you want to go into that lesson there of the woman standing on the beach with the windswept dress, you can see another technique that I've used in that painting. It's like a mixed media type of painting. Leaving a couple of darker spots and some lighter spots, leaving a bit of canvas showing through, that's also fine. The other thing I've got that I managed to pick up too is some seashells. Now, depending on how you want to do that, you can either use the seashells as a reference and paint them on, which we will try and do in a second, or you can actually get some glue and stick them on if that's what you want to do. So it's not just about painting flat paintings, it's about painting and using all these different medias to your advantage. And you can sell these quite nicely. I'm going to call this footprints in the sand because I'll show you a quick easy way of doing footprints when I'm finished. Now I'm going to have to get the hairdryer on that in a second, but before I do that, there's my paint. Before I do that, I'm going to get a bit of this dark colour on that brush, and I'm just going to put a line in all the way down like this, like that. Taking that line down because I want a nice shadow line there. Darker there. We can play around with the actual. There's going to be foam here, so we can play around with the actual foam itself. But for the moment, that dark line is going to make that green pop and stand up. There you go. A little bit of darkness in there like that. Okay, so I'm going to wash these brushes. I'm going to get the hairdryer on that. And we need to dry that off with a hairdryer until it's really, really bone dry. At this point I feel I must apologise because my sound recorder went off. So the first part of this video was running off the camera sound. So I do apologise for that. Sometimes these technical issues happen and I don't always look down to see these dials going off. I'm always constantly looking at the cameras, but even they can fail at some time or other. So I do apologise for that. So we'll get on with the video lesson. There you go. So we've put that in place. I've dried it off as best I can. I'm going to get a reasonably soft brush now. There you go. And I'm going to get some raw sienna, yellow ochre, sorry. I'm going to mix a little bit of white with it just to brighten it. And then I'm going to very lightly put in a couple of lighter spots like this, and I'm dry brushing, and what I'm trying to do is lift a little bit of that sand effect, lightening the colour with the white that's in there, but it's also I'm trying to lift and dry brush over the particles of sand that I've put in there. Sometimes you can put it on a bit too strong, but it doesn't matter. You just persevere with it. Try and blend it in like that. Trying to make it look sand-like. A little bit of moisture maybe a little bit more moisture on the brush so I can get some more of a wash effect rather than an actual paint going down. I don't want the paint going down too heavy. I can get a bit of tissue paper now and drag over the sand, and that's going to lift the sand, the paint off the top of the sand, and you'll have a little bit more of that textured effect going on there, like that. And we'll continue to do this down this area here. I'm not worried too much about this being dark there because it looks as if the sand is wet. So I'm bringing this in across like this. So I wanted to look a bit more powdery because as the waves crash in, it's going to look as if this is drier sand than that. And that's the effect that I'm trying to get. The other thing that I'm trying to create here is the fact that there's a very dark area there. There's a very dark area there, and I need a lighter area here just to balance that off. And what that's going to do is going to pull your eye into something that's quite flat. So I want this to look sand-like, and again I get my bit of tissue paper and just rub across there like that. And that's our sand done. It's as simple as that. How easy was that? I surprised myself. So, now we got some seashells. These are the seashell shells that I managed to get off the beach. Yes, not easy. There you are. There's one that looks like a pearl. There's pearly effect. Now you could stick these on if you wanted to. You could stick them on like that. Quite easy, stick them on if you wanted to have a little bit of depth, but these are a little bit big considering the amount of sand and that and what I'm going to put on there. So I thought let's use these as a little template and see if we can paint these on. I don't know. So I've got a detail brush. I'm going to start with some white, and I'm going to look at my seashell, and it's got a little knobble bit by there, and it comes around like that, and then around like that, and then like that. There you go. There's a little seashell like this. So we need to paint that in like that. That's just the first coat. There's a little seashell. There you go. First coat. Turn that around. Let's see if I got another one. I got one of these things. Look, that's looks like a little clamshell. So we can try and paint one of them. So let's put that one down like that. Painting that in. Nice. And there's always one of these things. These cylindrical things, shells on the beach that I've seen. There's always maybe a bit of seaweed lying on the sand. You can just make a little mark like that with a little bit of phthalo green just to make it represent maybe a little bit of seaweed or something. There we go. So we got a bit of seaweed, we got some seashells. Okay, I'm going to leave that at that. I need that to dry a little bit. I'm not going to put any more seashells on there because I want to put something else there in a second. Now we're going to get my short flat. I'm going to mix a little bit of phthalo green and white together like this. And now I'm going to put some foam patterns in like that. dry brush. Again, using the edge of the brush. Just scagging and dragging a little bit of foamy foam patterns across there. We've got a wonderful lifeboat station in Tenby, and I want to say thank you to the lifeboat crew in Tenby for all they do and going out in the sea and saving all these fantastic people, and I think it's a fantastic job that they do, and they don't get paid as far as I'm aware. I think they do it, and it's a thing that they just do. And we've had a few friends and family that have got in trouble in the sea over the years, and I just want to say a big thank you to the RNLI of all of Wales and the UK for a fantastic job that they actually do. I think that's important for us to remember, that these men put their lives at risk to save others, and they're volunteers at the end of the day. So thank you very much to the ladies and gentlemen of the RNLI. That's all I'd like to say. So we've got a bit of moisture coming in. Moisture? They're not moist, not moisture, it's waves. And let's just build a little bit of foam pattern coming in like that. Now some pure white, and we're just going to flick up some pure white on top of that shadow colour, putting it on quite nice and thick to represent the foam that's being kicked up by those wonderful waves and crashing against the beach. There we are. Getting those. Where's my brush? I don't know what I can tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a fan brush. It's getting quite warm in the studio again. There we are. I was hoping that would work a bit better than it did, but it doesn't matter. Putting some foam patterns. Wow, it looks like something now. It certainly does. We've got a little bit of that dark colour underneath that wave. That's just making it stand out a bit. So we'll just very quickly just put a thin wash of paint just under those waves, just to define the shadow. There you go. So it just makes it look as if it's standing out a little bit more. And we'll just put a bit of a watermark there, and dry brushing that in. Get a little bit of, there you are, like that. There's been one that's just come in before it. There we go. It's just a little bit of a watermark. Sand is absorbing all the water that's coming before. There's another wave coming in now. There you go, looks nice. A bit of mark here, there, that. There we go. Whoosh. Put them brushes in there. Going back to my detail brush. Picking up a bit of raw sienna, a bit of burnt umber. I'm looking at my first shell. I'm just drawing those lines in like that. And then my second shell has got lines. There's a little line going across there like that. And these lines now are like that. And I know what they look like. Again, it's warming up in this studio today. I got the door shut now, so I'm just putting a bit of shadow mark just underneath this shell, just to make it stand up a touch. There you go. There we are. They can be as detailed as you want them to be. So what I want to do now, I'm going to get a little bit of kitchen greaseproof paper, and I'm going to put some paint onto that, and I want some, I'm going to put some burnt umber on like that. I hope this is going to work. I'm going to make a fist like that, and I'm pushing my fist, there we are, like that. So I'm going to get down on my hands and knees, and I'm going to put the first one there like that, and I'm going to lift off. So there's the first one. The second one I'm going to do this hand. There you go. And then again I'm going to go down, and I'm going to put one there like that. Near enough? Well, near enough. It's a bit dry, so I'm just going to wipe my hands very quickly. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it works better when it's not so warm in the studio, I think. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet, and draw in the shape, I think. This is the type of shape that I wanted to get imprinted off my hand. Try it on a bit of paper. It works a little bit better. Works a little bit better on paper, actually. I didn't have enough paint. on my hand, I don't think. So that's representing a footprint basically in the sand. What you do then, you get your finger, you put it into some paint like this, and then you can put a big toe in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 little toes. Again, it's easier if I do it like that. But that's how you do it. There you go. Looks like somebody's just walked across the sand. Get some lighter colour. Paint it around like that. Footprints on a beach. And a couple of seashells. Well, there we are. Give it a try. I would. That is, and you can work to that to your heart's content. If you want to put seashells and stuff on there, you can put different things on there. You could, I don't know, whatever plant life you think of, you could paint a rock or something. But I mean, that's just a quick, easy way of doing a simple, easy seascape. So give it a try. Don't forget to get that paint there and put it onto some paper, and then 5 little dots with your finger will represent the toes. And that's something the kids can do, and you can make footprints all the way up the wall if you wanted to. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. I used to drive my mother up the wall. So thank you very much for joining me in the studio. I don't forget, I upload every Monday at 7:30. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. That's appreciated. Have a go at this. It's a bit of fun, and I hope you enjoy that. So thank you. Until next time. Bye.